This morning I woke up with the greatest peace I've felt in a very long time. And that's because the other night I did something that I'd never been able to overcome. A few days before this incident happened, I started being more aware of my thoughts, feelings, and emotional reactions to things that were happening in my life. Dr. Joe talks about mentally practicing a behavior that we would like to embody. If you're like me, you probably find this really hard to do. How can we feel something we're not used to feeling? Or act in a way that we're not used to being? So it wasn't easy to practice, or even imagine a new behavior. I'd had glimpses of the feelings and emotions that I wanted to feel, but these glimpses really only lasted a few seconds at a time. Trying to practice these new behaviors were also giving me a headache, which really didn't help. I like to think that maybe the headaches are because of the positive changes going on with the wiring in my brain, as Dr. Joe explains, because I'm no longer automatically thinking negative thoughts as much as I would normally do. I was expecting my reactions to the situation that happened that night, as even the thought of it sends my anxiety and emotions into overdrive. I've never really stepped back to observe my reactions to these situations, as I've always felt powerless in the moments of my strong emotional reactions. However, through Dr. Joe's teachings, this time I was more prepared. To be clear, nothing really happened that night, and the person who triggers me was in another room. I was determined to be present, observe and understand how I've previously been subconsciously reacting in similar situations. Believe me when I say that it took a huge determined effort and energy not to get carried away with my thoughts, feelings and emotions at the time. The most obvious reaction I noticed was my heart beating fast, hard and loud in my chest. I could feel the beat vibrating my body. Although the other person did nothing to be confrontational, I could feel myself getting fired up for a confrontation. Images of being betrayed flashed in my mind, which only served to deepen the negative, unworthy feelings I was feeling. I could feel myself getting angry to cover the hurt and unworthiness I was feeling. I could also feel myself enjoying the rush of chemicals surging through my body. As I continued to remain detached and observe what was happening within me, I came to realize the anger that I was feeling made me feel strong and powerful. The anger helped me to overcome the feelings of powerlessness that had become my normal way of feeling. It would have been so easy to let myself get carried away with the powerful high. But I want to make positive changes in my life, and becoming angry to feel powerful isn't the type of high or change that I want. Even though I was in the bedroom on my own, I was subconsciously feeling like I needed to show how sad I was and how much the situation was hurting me. I wanted the invisible person, or even invisible people in my head, to take pity on me and comfort me so that the hurting would stop, even though no one was really doing anything at the time. As I continued to observe what was going on within me, something funny happened. I felt like I'd stepped out of my body and the thoughts, emotions and feelings that were going on inside me. I felt like I was watching a movie, or in this case, a tragedy, and I began to see the situation as a comedy. It was quite funny. I felt myself thinking, why would anyone react this way to something or someone who's not worth suffering for? And also, nothing was going on in real life. I was on my own in the bedroom, but in my mind there were characters who were doing things to betray and hurt me. I came to realize that I was creating it all in my mind, because deep down I felt powerless in my daily life, And these situations were the only way I could generate enough energy to feel powerful. To create positive changes in my life, I knew I had to stay being an observer, so I could find out what was on the other side of these powerful but negative feelings. After a few minutes, the intense negative feelings and emotions began to subside. As the emotions became less and less, I was left with a sense of peace. Peace that I had not felt for probably decades. This whole process lasted around 10 minutes from start to finish, whereas normally they would carry on for several hours and sometimes for days. But being aware of how my mind and body reacted to the imagined situation, and knowing that I was creating them in my head, gave me the power and control to stop them. Now that I'm more familiar with the feelings and emotions that my body goes through during these intense times, I now know the signs and have more awareness of how to regulate my emotions. My goal now is to use this knowledge to consciously stop myself from getting carried away with the automatic subconscious reactions of negative thoughts, feelings and emotions that happen in similar situations in the future.